What's up guys? New for 2018, we have the replacement for 2017's SJ9 Atmos soundbar. We have the SK9Y soundbar. It's basically a repackaged SJ9 with the ability to adjust the levels for the overhead speakers and is also wireless rear capable using the SPK8S speakers. The SK9Y retails for $899. Let's get this unboxed, set up, and give it a listen. Inside we get the soundbar itself, the subwoofer, and the accessories box. We have the small remote, power cable for the subwoofer, screws for the wall mounts, zip ties, wall mounts, and manuals. The bar is pretty hefty at 12.4 pounds. It's 46.2 inches wide by 5.7 inches deep and only 2.3 inches in height, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem when placing it in front of a TV. The soundbar has 5 speakers total. On the front are center, left, and right channels, and a speaker on each end for the surround channels. There are also 2 up-firing speakers for Atmos audio. If you aren't familiar with Atmos, the 2 up-firing speakers will reflect sound off of your ceiling and back at your seating position to replicate directional sounds coming from above your head. On the front of the bar is an LCD display, and on the rear are controls for power, function, volume down and up, Wi-Fi, and input selection. For connections, there are LAN, 3.5mm, optical, HDMI output, and 1 HDMI input. The wireless subwoofer has a clean look with a black cloth grille covering the sides and the front. The sub weighs 16.8 pounds and rated at 200 watts. Each speaker in the soundbar is rated at 43 watts for a total output of 500 watts including the subwoofer. Setup is pretty simple. Just connect an HDMI cable to the HDMI ARC on your display to the HDMI ARC output on the soundbar. If you have a Blu-ray player or other device, plug it directly to the HDMI input on the SK9Y. Once you power on the unit, it will automatically connect to the subwoofer. The flashing green light on the rear of the sub will go from flashing to solid green once connected. There are 5 different sound modes you can select when using the remote. You can also select different inputs and access the channel level trims for the subwoofer, overhead, and rear speakers. Bass and treble adjustments are also configurable. Bluetooth playback is available as well. Wi-Fi and multi-room streaming is supported with other LG speakers using the LG Wi-Fi speaker app. Google Chromecast is built in and also has support for Google Assistant. By using the app, you can access other LG speakers on your network, stream music through Wi-Fi, or use a music server. You can access all the same functions found on the remote control and update the firmware all using the app. Now let's give it a listen using the Dolby Atmos demo disc. You won't be able to hear what the soundbar truly sounds like on YouTube, but I'll play a couple of Atmos clips to give you a sense of output. Now this is the second Dolby Atmos bar I've had in here for testing, the other being the Sony HT-ST5000. And as far as audio quality goes on the LG, there is an extremely wide upfront soundstage. Dialogue came through clearly and was noticeably distinct from the left and right channels. Playback of Dolby Atmos content sounded decent with a large spread of sound in the upper front of the room. However, there wasn't always a clear distinction between the left and right height sound effects. I felt the sound that was getting reflected up top had a hollow sounding characteristic. It would blend in with the side firing speakers to kind of give it a muddled sound. You can, however, tone down the effect by adjusting the rear and overhead levels. When I had listened to the same demos on the Sony ST5000, there was a sharper distinction of sound in the upper 2 Atmos front channels. Room layout and other considerations will obviously affect the sound quality you get, but by testing both bars in the same room, I ended up with different results. That's not to say the SK9 doesn't sound good. It does give you a good sense of the Atmos experience and had a very good immersive quality about it. I also didn't have their wireless rear speakers to test with, as I'm sure that would have greatly made the surround factor even more enveloping. But even without the rear channels, the side firing speakers did blast out some sound that reached well beyond my side walls. Bass quality, as you may expect, isn't going to be tight and articulate. It does fill in the mid-range gap all the way to the low end, although it can sound a bit bloated and boomy. It did have good slam during explosions and could really shake the room. I also did notice during some heavy action scenes with explosions and things moving all around that dialogue tended to get overpowered and could be drowned out if there's a lot of other sounds going on. It didn't happen all the time, but I found it annoying when it did. And just a word of warning, don't keep the subwoofer next to a router, or if you're using a Wi-Fi mesh network, keep it away from one of those modules. They will cause signal loss between the sub and the soundbar. I do use a Linksys mesh network, and I had signal dropouts till I moved the sub further away from it. One caveat is that DTS is supported, but not DTS-X. The SJ9 never supported it, and I probably wouldn't count on it being supported here either. So that may be a deal breaker for some. Now this isn't LG's flagship soundbar. They have another one called the SK10Y with a slightly higher output as well as Meridian audio processing. The SK9Y is, however, $200 cheaper and may be easier on the wallet if you're on a budget. There will be other Atmos bars in the same price points from Sony, Samsung, and Vizio that will support DTS-X. Now if you already own last year's SJ9, I don't really see a compelling reason to pick up this year's model as they are essentially the same. If you're picking up a new LG TV today and want to keep it all in the family, the SK9Y is a solid choice and will give you a nice taste of the Atmos experience without having to add 7 more speakers throughout your room. I'll leave links to all the products I mentioned in the video if you want to check up-to-date prices. Let us know in the comments how you feel about all these immersive audio soundbars, and if you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Be sure to check out our social media links, and if you're not a subscriber, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys again in the next one.